And the reason why I'm recording, don't get intimidated. No, but it's not going to go out anywhere. I'm recording because there's a couple of agents that couldn't get on early, from the beginning. And I said I would record so they can catch up with us, okay? And it also gives me a little, I could go back and see how good I did or what I need to sharpen up on. So it helps me too. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to speaker view so that I'm not distracted, because I get distracted easily. Now I've still got, I'm still seeing everyone. I don't know how to do it. Okay, that's fine, because I'm going to, in a minute, share my screen anyway, and we're going to talk about some things on the screen. So first of all, welcome. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about me, and you may have already, met me through the huddle in the morning, and or maybe have seen me in the office. It was before I was started. I've been in the business, in the real estate business. What we can do too is, unless you're going to speak, put yourself on mute, and then that way we don't have background noise, okay? So, and you're welcome to chime in. Unmute yourself if you have a question or something you want to say. Just please feel free to do that, all right? So I've been in the real estate business for about almost 19 years. And I am one of the top producers in the office. About 4 years ago, my husband joined me, and we are now a team. Last year, we did about 10 million. Don't let that intimidate you, because the first year I was in business, I had one closing. And the difference between your start and my start, the big difference that I know of is support, being around the right people, being around the training, being around the coaching, the support that you're getting at Keller Williams. And I'm not, honestly, you guys are already here, so I'm not trying to push the company on you, but just to tell you the value of what you have. I started with a little mom and pop company in Bedford Village, and a couple of years down after that, I switched over to a company called Prudential, which no longer does real estate. Both companies, they were nice people, but I got absolutely no training. But most of all, I did not treat it like a business. I didn't even know it was a business. I thought I worked for a broker and I was a real estate agent, okay? So my business hat didn't go on until I started with Keller Williams, because the mindset about what we do is very different in our company. We are the CEO of our business. Marisol, you own a business. Angelica, you own a business. Ed, Karika, we are business owners. So you can be as successful as you want to be with the right training, and as long as you avail yourself of the training available and the coaching and whatever tools and systems work for you, you can be hugely successful. So my story is, I started out really slow, and and then got successful. I've been a top producer since I'm with the company, since 2009. I've been a top producer. Now, about 2.5 years ago, our old team leader was looking for a new productivity coach. And I actually gave her a different name. I said, I have a suggestion for you, and gave her a name. And then I said, I got another name for you. And she said, what's the other name? And I said, how about me? And she said, absolutely. I had no idea what I was jumping into. I didn't know really what coaching was. And thankfully, over the past 2.5 years that I've been doing this, I've learned that coaching is very different than what I thought it was. And it's not hand-holding, and it's not training, and it's not mentoring, although sometimes those things factor in. So I'll go through with you a little bit about what coaching is and what coaching isn't. And what my goal is today is to give you an overview of the coaching program, show you a little bit of where the tools are and what we have accessible to us. And then from there, if you decide, because coaching is available to you as new agents in the Market Center, if you decide you want to be in the coaching program, then we'll talk about what the agreement is. I do want to tell you that as new agents, if you came on as new, and I think every one of you did, the Market Center, I believe, has offered you the coaching program at no cost to you, which is great, right? They do pay me, and this is, I just want you to understand, you never pay me. So whether you take the coaching program or not, it doesn't change, you know, what you get paid, because you're not paying me. So for the most part, what they offer people when they come on is a 60-40 split until you have 5 transactions, or a year, whichever comes first. Within that same time frame, I will coach you through your 5 transactions or a year, whichever comes first. And every time you have a closing, the Market Center will pay me from their piece of it, not from yours. All right? Any questions about that so far? Nope. Okay. So I want to share my screen with you. Let's see if I could do this, because I'm new at this, people. And it's not on here. So I have to do something first, I think. Oh, I think I know how to do this. I think I know how to do this. I have to
down at the bottom.
Yeah, I think I have to.
You wanted to have
move. Okay, so are you looking at the screen that says TLRPC at the top, red and white?
Yes.
All righty. So the Locker Room is the company that our office has partnered with. And they came with this wonderful, it's a program that's national. There are well over 100 coaches and coaching programs throughout the United States. And I'm super lucky to be associated with them, because I have so many resources for myself as well as for you. So I want to show you a little bit about what that is. When you go to ignore the address at the top, but I'd like you to write down realtypartnerscoaching.com. That's the shortcut to this page. So Realty Partners, which is the name of our company, right? Keller Williams Realty Partners. So realtypartnerscoaching.com will bring you to this page, okay? As we scroll down in the page, you're going to see a calendar, the training calendar. This is where I put anything related to coaching. So for instance, on every Friday, you're gonna see, for the most part, unless there's a weird thing that week, for the most part, every Friday, there's a group coaching session. And I have it on this calendar. I'm going to tell you how to access that in a few minutes. I was doing power hours at 10 o'clock, but now with COVID, Bold coming next week, we're not going to do it. I'm going to take those out. But if you look, actually I did take it out because we're in April. So there's coaching every Friday at noon. Now that's a group coaching session. So everyone that's in our program can access that and hop on. I've been doing it by Zoom. Before this, I was doing it in the office. But I really like Zoom, because a lot of people who, maybe you're a transition agent or a dual career agent, you have another job and you can't get here. I like Zoom because for 2 reasons. If you can catch it, you can go wherever you are. And secondly, I can record it. So we'll be, possibly even after COVID is over, we'll be doing that by Zoom as well. On Wednesday, the second Wednesday of every month, there's something called the Huddle, and I'll explain to you what that is in a little while. But basically, that's where my training calendar is, all right? You're gonna go down a little further, and there's me, and that's an old picture, so forgive me for no longer looking like that, but I need to update. So right under that, you're gonna click Schedule with Celeste. When you do that, and that's for our one-on-one sessions, and I'm gonna explain to you the difference between group and one-on-one, but I want you to see that that's where you go to schedule with me. So don't text me and say, hey, Celeste, can I meet with you this week? Because this is really easy. What this does is you click on this, it goes immediately into my Google Calendar. So there's no worry about, you know, duplicating and me getting back to you and checking and all that other stuff. I set up the calendar usually for the month ahead of time so that those dates that are available are things that I already set up. All right. And then under that is my email address, celesteholmes1@gmail.com. All right. And then under that is just a little bio about me, just boring, you don't have to read it. Next to me is beautiful Mia. And Mia, you probably know as well from Huddle if you've jumped in at all. Mia's an agent in our office. She was in my coaching program when she was brand new. She now helps me once in a while with coaching the dual career agents, but primarily you're going to go and schedule with me, okay? So that's what this page looks like. Now, we go up to this thing called Core. And this is where the good stuff happens. And I'm going to click on Core, and I'm going to end up on the agent side. Good. I'm glad it's not the coaching side because I can show you some stuff. Don't get scared by all these numbers and stuff in the middle. In fact, they're revamping this page, and they'll be, that's not going to be the first thing you see, but I will explain what that is as well. Within Core, there's something here called the toolkit. And if I click on that, there's a lot of different things that are in here. And one of the things, and by the way, generally whenever this is the first time I'm doing this by Zoom, whenever I've done this in person, I give you a binder, which I have all set up in the office. I have a binder for each one of you. So there's some things I'm going to show you today that are not, that you don't have to download and print because I already did it for you in the binder, all right? But I do want to show you one of the things that you'll get in the binder. So just ignore this page for 1 second where the tools are. I want to go back. I know I'm jumping around a little bit. This is something that's going to be in your binder. It's called the Passport to Success, okay? And in the very first, on the very first page, there's some of the things that I'm showing you now. There's Welcome to the Locker Room, what the Locker Room is. As I said, it's a national coaching program. Core is where I just clicked on that I'll go back into, that I'll show you some more things that are in there. You have a national community, the Locker Room. We have a Facebook group page that I'm going to show you a little later, that every agent from across the country that's involved in the Locker Room, so they're agents just like you, and great resource in there. A few of our agents that are in our program in our office have utilized it to get referrals. They've also reached out and asked anybody want to be an accountability partner or a script practice partner, and Annie got one and Erin got one. And so that's a great thing to do because you can be talking to people from across the country that you wouldn't normally have access to, and they're in the same program you are. Locker Room University, I'll explain to you in a minute, and the Huddle is that once a month thing that I told you about that I will show you. What I want you to do is, because we can't get in the office and I can't hand you this binder, I'm going to be emailing you this Passport for Success. You don't need to print it all out unless you want to, because I've already, like I said, I already done it for you. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to read the first, see, this is page 3, what you can expect from coaching, communication, what I do as a coach, what I do not do as a coach, what I expect from you. I'd like you to read that, okay? And then on the next page is something called the Agent Questionnaire. This is kind of a getting to know you document. It doesn't go anywhere except to me. It's, getting me to know who you are, what your experiences are, what's important to you, what isn't important to you. So just go through it, answer those questions as best you can. And this is something that you'll want to print out so that you can scan it or take a picture of it or whatever is better for you to get it back to me. Okay, and you can email that to me. All right. So we'll be working with this document throughout our coaching together called the Passport to Success. Like I said, I just want you to read those first couple of pages so that you can truly understand what coaching is versus what it's not. Let me ask you guys a question, and feel free to unmute yourselves. How many of you, if any of you, have ever had a coach before? Eddie?
I have, yes.
In what manner?
I've also been a coach.
Cool.
In my current role, I've been with Verizon for the past 9 years, give or take. And when I first started in the role, I was coached, for the particular architect job that I have, more from a sales side, because I'm very heavily involved in sales at Verizon, even though I'm
Okay.
an engineer per se. And I've also had to mentor people for 3 months, fellow architects.
Okay. So do you feel there's a difference in the mentoring position you had and the coaching that you do?
There's a little bit of a difference. I mean, a mentor, you're responsible for that person's success. Now, coaching, you're also a little bit responsible for that person's success, but ultimately, particularly in real estate coaching, it's just that. You're going to be coaching me, giving me the tools, giving me, suggestions, but at the end of the day, it's going to be up to me to succeed.
Yep, absolutely. And what I love about coaching is that I get to help you understand. You're going to hear me talk a lot about your big why and mindset. That's my big thing, because if your mindset is not right, no matter what you do other than that, that's where it starts. It starts with your thoughts, okay? So we talk a lot about mindset and your big why. Your big why, how many of you have ever heard that term before? Your big why. And it's not the supermarket on Newtown Road that I go to, because there is a supermarket called the Big Why. Your big why is the reason why you're doing anything. I'm sorry, Ed, you were about to speak? Feel free.
No, I was just going to make a joke.
Okay. So your big why is the reason why, because listen, real estate, there's a phrase, it's simple, not easy, right? It's very simple, but it's not easy. And no two deals are alike. And it's emotional, because you're dealing with emotional beings. For the most part, if you're doing residential real estate, you are dealing with very emotional people, sellers, buyers. It's not easy, but it's simple. But to keep going and to have that goal that we're going to talk about together when we have our first one-on-one, we're going to set your goals. I'm going to show you how you can achieve the goal and break it down for you of how you can do it. But in order to get up every morning and really hit it, to really stick to your game plan, you need to have that big why. If the big why is not big enough, you're not going to want to do it. You're just going to say, you know what, this isn't for me. And that's okay, because it's not for everyone. But if your big why is big enough, you will do it. Nothing will stop you. And I get to be on that ride with you. I get to say to you, Ed, this was the goal that you set. This is what you said you were going to do to achieve it this week. How did you do with that? And sometimes I'm not going to be your best friend. Sometimes you're not going to like me. But that's okay. When I first started coaching, because I'm that kind of person, I'm a very people person, if you will, and most of us are that get into this business, right? I wanted to be your best friend, and I've soon after that learned that being your best friend is not always to your best advantage. So I'm not always going to be your best friend, but will I care about you and everything about you? Absolutely. I'm going to get to know you. You're going to get to know me. I'm going to get to know about your family. But really, your big why is going to be big enough that it's going to be big enough for me to be candid with you sometimes. And sometimes being candid is not going to be funny. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be like, but that's what you want. Accountability is going to be a huge piece of this, okay? So a lot of times when I say, has anybody ever been coached? Most times people say no until I say, hey, did you ever play a sport? So have you guys ever played a sport aside from Ed, because he has a little understanding of coaching?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me which one of you, Karika?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I've played numerous sports in my life, and I've always been held accountable to certain standards of, trying to follow through and trying to be, I don't know, someone that other people look up to, but, trying to be positive for myself. Like
Right.
I've had coaches as well. You know, I worked for Verizon for a while.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but it was like door-to-door sales.
Okay.
It was nice in the beginning, but after a while, I don't know, I just didn't get the coaching that I needed to really be successful. So
Okay. Okay.
that's
Well, I hope
my,
that changes here.
absolutely.
So,
I hope so too.
and Angelica, you said that you had a coach or you played sports?
Yes, in high school I did field and track. So of
And
course their coaches are very useful in the support and growing in whatever it is that you are doing. Of course coaches are very useful.
how did you feel about your coach? Did you always love your coach or sometimes you didn't like them?
So the first time that she saw me run, she got so mad because she let me slack off in practice so much, and she's like, never again will I like slack off with you.
So shame
But
on
for the
her to
most
let
part,
you slack off, right?
exactly. And I think she learned that too, that she just let me and my friends just kind of hang out during practice. And then when it came time and she saw that I was fast, she's like, why did I let you just slack off?
Right.
But for the most part, we had a really good relationship.
Once you knew what was expected of you and once she knew what was expected of her, right?
Of course. And of course,
Um,
her knowledge and experience contributed a lot
Yep.
to, helping me in my
Yep.
skills in that too.
And I thank you for saying that. I'm so passionate about this. I'm passionate about real estate, but I'm more passionate about what I can give you and how I can help you get to your goal. And just like an athletic coach, I think about the only coaching experience I ever had besides Isogenics, which was very cool. I love my coach. But way before that, the only experience I had with coaching was when my son played football. And as a mom, watching him do doubles or triples in August in 100-degree weather and coming home and working so hard, I didn't understand it and I didn't like his coach. But then I came to realize that not only were they going to win games, but my son would be safe on the field because of his training, because of the coaching. So it really taught me a lot about coaching too. So thanks for sharing all that, guys. Let me just go back into, I want to pop over to, back over to where I was, and that was in here, okay? So once you access core, and I'm going to give you guys, before we end today, I'm going to give you all the ways that we're going to handle this, okay? Just want to give you a little overview first, all right? And it's harder because you don't have anything tangible in your hand to follow along. So thank you for hanging in with me. So the toolkit. So within the toolkit, there's some awesome stuff. Like for instance, people say to me, well, when I make cold calls, I don't know what to say. Well, here we go. We got download. Let me open that up. We got something called the script book, simplified scripts. Okay. How many people hate scripts? Come on, be honest. There you go. So
I do too, but I've been trying to make my own script. Because
okay.
it's like, it's hard when you're using somebody else's script and it just doesn't fit.
Yes, yes. And are any of you, by the way, taking the BOLD class next week? It starts next week.
I am. I'm going to do my best to pay as much attention as possible because I will probably have other calls going on. So.
Okay, okay.
But I have signed up.
Okay.
What is
awesome.
it called? I missed what you said.
It's BOLD. We have a class coming up starting next week called BOLD. I'm just going to mute those of you not speaking because there's a lot of background here. Okay, who was just talking? That was, anyway, can you all hear me? Just nod if you can hear me. So, and unmute yourself if you want to talk. I apologize. If everybody's unmuted, there's a lot of background. So, BOLD is a coaching class that I've taken 6 times, and this will be my 7th. And the reason why I take it is because there's so many good things in it, but we were talking about scripts. And I hated scripts. I was like, no, I sound fake. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying what they said to say. And yeah, there is some truth to it, that if you can find your own way of saying things, say it. But there's also, how many have a favorite actor? My favorite actor is Tom Hanks. Okay. When I'm watching Forrest Gump, I'm not looking at Tom Hanks. I'm looking at Forrest Gump, right? When I'm watching, I have grandchildren, so when I'm watching Toy Story, I'm not watching the cowboy, Tom Hanks, I'm watching the cowboy, right? So the reason why I am so convinced it's not Tom Hanks when I'm watching it is because he practiced his scripts and he made it his own. And if you talk to any actor, they're going to, in fact, we have one in our coaching program. Holmes Lindsay is an actor. He's one of the agents in my coaching program. He's awesome. And he will tell you that he becomes that person. He becomes that character. So a whole other topic, scripts, but I wanted to show you, I got off on a little bit of a tangent, but I wanted to show you that we have those in there. We have seller documents. We have lead generation ideas. We have goal setting systems. We have what to do with for sale by owners and expireds. All of that is in there, okay? We also have up here in Locker Room University, which I already have up here, we have courses. One of the things that I'm giving you in your binder is this course right here called the Agent Action Plan. And it's all printed out for you. Again, once you get in there, you're welcome to print it out yourself. Unfortunately, all of mine are in the office, but I did print out a whole bunch. The reason why I want you to get into the Agent Action Plan is any good business needs an action plan, right? You need a business plan. You can't just go willy-nilly. Like I said, when I started in 2009 with this company, I didn't even know what a business plan was. So you guys that have been in business before, maybe you're more familiar, but you definitely need a plan to start. I want to open this up and just show you real quickly, not the whole thing, but I'm going to show you the first page, because our first meeting together, let me move this to the other side. Our first meeting together on our one-on-one, we are going to be doing this sheet. How much money do you want to net in your pocket? So don't cheat and get ahead of me, and don't get all worried about all the numbers that are going to go in there. But that's where you and I are going to start on our very first session together. How much you want to make and how am I going to get there? Okay, so I'll help you with that. But that's one of the courses in the Locker Room University. So how do I get back, Celeste? I get back with, I also talk to myself a lot. No, that's not how you go back. You go back here. You go back here. There it is. So within Locker Room University, there's tons of stuff. The other day, Lena, who you will meet, she's in our program too, she did the course on time blocking, and she said she really enjoyed it tremendously. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but don't get crazy and don't get confused and oh my God, there's so many things. Right now, if you're brand new, you are drinking from a fire hose. There's so many things going on. There's so many places you can go. The good thing is that, and don't get me wrong, this is a horrible time for the world, right? But to get into a business now when everything is kind of on pause to some degree and difficult, doing real estate is more difficult now than ever. When you learn how to do a skill, when it's really difficult, when it's easy, you're going to breeze through. So I'm excited for you. This is a good time for you to get into some of these, systems and webinars and don't get me wrong, you could be zoomed out in any given day. So, when we do our one-on-one, I will help you with that. I will help, especially you guys that have 2 careers. I'll help you not get overwhelmed by all the stuff, all right? Today, I'm just giving you an overview, but honestly, I don't want you to get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff. Does that make sense? All right, so we're gonna go back into the screen where we were in core. That's how you access Locker Room University. Up here's something called a goal meter. So once we set your goals, every month you're gonna go in here and you're going to set your goals for the month. And this is my mock one. I don't go in here as an agent. The reason why I don't is I don't want it to skew the numbers for our program. But this is as if I was an agent. This is where I would put in my goals for the month. Okay, now my goals for the month, I had set, I need 4 closings a month. I didn't put any numbers. And again, I didn't put any numbers because I didn't want to skew the results. But this is where you would go and set your goal for the month, which is going to be very important to you for you to know. What's one of the reasons why we need to know numbers? Anybody? Unmute yourself, give me an answer.
To keep track of what you're doing, you know, to kind of have like invoices, sort of say.
Yeah, why is that important?
So you could see your progress and you could see your, you know, just what you're doing kind of, and you keep track of everything.
Yeah.
Counting.
How many of us are parents? You guys all parents?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, we're all parents except for Karika. So Karika, humor us when I give you this analogy. When your baby was born and you took him to the pediatrician, what's the first thing they did?
Weighed him? Or,
weighed the baby, right?
The
they weighed the baby. Why did they weigh the baby?
To see his development?
Yeah.
Is he developing? Is he thriving? Does he need to get off, you know, the boob and go to formula? Are you feeding him enough, right? So, or maybe we change the formula because that's not working. So knowing every realm of life has measurements to see how good you're doing and where you can do better, or maybe where you have to shift. Right? So knowing your numbers is super, super important. Within the coaching program, there's an accountability piece. I want you to track your numbers every week, and I want to see that you're reporting your numbers. And if your number in the beginning is 0, if your numbers are 0, that's okay. 0 is a number, right? But after a while, you're going to see those numbers changing. There are things in your numbers that you can control, and there are things that you have less control over, that are a byproduct of the things you do have control over. For instance, you have control over how many people a day you speak to, right? So those numbers should not be 0. Sometimes, especially in the beginning, your numbers 0 are going to be your closings or your contracts and that kind of thing. But adding to your database, and when we do our one-on-ones, we'll talk about this in depth, adding to your database and your conversations should never be 0. You are going to want to know your numbers. Once you set that goal, when you go here, you're going to see how you're doing in the different categories that you decided to set up. Okay, that makes sense? So that's really a very cool accountability tool. There's one more thing I want to show you on this page, and that is up here. Actually, no, not on this page. That's the coaching side. I want to go to here. Right here where it says Success Tracker, okay? When you click on that, and I have to move this guy to the corner up here, okay? When you click on that, you're going to enter the numbers that we just discussed, right? And again, I will show you one-on-one, but also there's something in here called Week in Review. Part of the requirement in my program is that every Sunday you fill this out. It's not to judge you, and trust me when I tell you this is not about judgment. This is not about you didn't do this week, or this gives me and you insight. So the questions are really awesome. The first question, within the previous week, what did you learn about yourself or your business? When you're answering these questions, you're going deep, right? It's not just whatever. Sometimes you're not going to want to answer them. Sometimes you're going to be like, I don't know, and just type in, I don't know, that's fine. But I do require it, and it is a prerequisite for our one-on-ones. That's the only thing that I truly require. If you schedule a one-on-one with me, I'm going to look and see. And by the way, I look anyway every week, even if you don't have a scheduled one-on-one with me. I will look at this and I will read them because I care about you, number one, and I want to see if there's something I can help you with that week, okay? Or I want to celebrate with you. But it is a requirement for me if you choose to be in the program, okay? So that's it here. Any questions so far? And this, I know it's a lot, so don't feel like you have to know it all right now. But anything jump out at you that you want to know more about? Karika?
So will you send us like the links or
Yes.
like the websites and everything for?
Yes.
Because I see that you were on like, what was it, TLR core, and then there was another one that I have wrote down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When we hang up, just so you know, there's and I'll review all that with you before we hang up. But when we hang up, there's a bunch of things I'm going to email you so that you have everything in front of you. All right, you'll have my email address, you'll have my cell phone number, you'll have all of these links and how to get to each of these things, okay? Which, by the way, are all in that darn binder that's in the office. Okay, so that's our website where we access core, where you schedule with me, where you see our training calendar, okay? So that's the really important one to know, realtypartnerscoaching.com. There's two more things I want to show you, and that is that you're going to be invited to a Facebook page. And let me show you how to get there. Hold on, I got a lot of things open here. People are private messaging me. Go away, go away, go away. So in order for me to invite you to this Facebook page, you need to friend request me, which I will put in my email, how to find me, okay? It's Celeste Ciclari Passiola, and that's, just so you know what it looks like, this is what it looks like. Those are my grandchildren, by the way. And you must tell me how wonderful they are to be in my program. Once in a while, I'm going to bore you with some stories about them, but that's the three boys, and they have a little sister who my daughter is adopting, and she can't be on Facebook yet because her adoption didn't go through yet. So let me go back to KW Locker Room Agents. So this is the page that I will invite you to. And what this is just our office, no one else. No one outside, I should correct that, no one outside our program in our office is on here. I will invite you, and I'll show you in a minute. I do recordings on here. I'll put this that we're recording today on here. If there's things that I want to announce, I might text you guys. And by the way, I try not to text more than once a week, and I do it in a group to all of you. Don't answer me in the group, because then 30 people are in my coaching program. You don't want 30 people popping up on your phone. So if I text you in the group and you want to answer me, just answer me separately, and I'll try not to hound you more than once a week, okay? So there's cool things on here. There's classes on here that I've done. This is something I developed a couple of weeks ago as an accountability tool while we're in our self-quarantining stage that might be interesting to you, that I've been using for myself. This is, Elena posted this. She just finished that course in Locker Room University. But I also, and that's a game, by the way, I do contests. We win prizes. So Elena got a cross in the month of March. She did bingo. So she will be getting a prize. I also had a big March contest, and I paid for her monthly office fee. So, and I do that, and I'm only saying this so that you understand how much I believe in you guys. I pay for that stuff because I want to, because I think that it's important to keep us excited and keep us engaged and to celebrate. So this was my group 2 weeks ago. That was group coaching. This is something out of the MREA book that we've been talking about, the five aspects of the energy plan that Gary Keller wrote in his book. Now, I'm trying to get to it. There are classes in here that I've done. So there's a class, there's Vera. Hi, Vera. There's a class in here on buyer consultation. There's a class in here on seller consultation. And there's a class that I did on open houses. So even though my job isn't training, I will do training, if that makes sense. That's not my primary function for you, but I will do training as I see that it's needed, or people, you know, if it's something that would benefit you. I definitely have no problem doing some training and some classes for you, okay? And again, you know, you're watching my buyer consultation. It's not like the only one in the world, but it works for me, and so I share my expertise with you, all right? So that's one Facebook page that I'm going to invite you to. And the other one is Locker Room Nation. And that's the national one. And it looks like this. So when I invite you, you'll know you're in the right place. This is the one where I mentioned before that every agent from all over the country is in. And Jake Dixon, who's the founder of the Locker Room, he goes on here a lot. Other coaches go on here. This is one of my favorite coaches, Mary Lou Dingman, my friend from Raleigh. Raleigh, where is she from? Raleigh, North Carolina? And is that North Carolina? I think so. And she's awesome. In fact, what we do sometimes is we have guest coaches come to each other's group coaching by Zoom. So my friend up in Boston, Sarah, she'll be doing one. Mary Lou has done one for me. So there's good stuff in here. You'll notice the first thing that was on here way up at the top was that huddle dates. Now remember in my training calendar, I'll show it to you again, where it said huddle locker room coaching. Wednesday, April 1st. So it's the first, not the, I thought it was the second Wednesday of every month. It looks like it's the first Wednesday of every month. Yeah, the next one is May 6th. So, yeah, May 6th. So the huddle is on that Wednesday. You go on Facebook and you can watch it later, you can watch it live, you can ask questions. It's each of these is the topics that are listed and who's teaching it. You'll see a lot of Jake Dixon. He's the founder of the Locker Room. He's amazing. The next one, which is next Wednesday, is building wealth with investments. That sounds like a good topic too. So that's something you might want to hop into, okay? So those are the two Facebook pages. Let me just cheat and look at my notes for a second. And if anybody has a question, just unmute yourself and shout it out. Okay, I said that, I did this. Yeah, so what you can expect of me, I will show up. And when I show up, my phone is off. I have a husband, I have a business, who's also my business partner. I have an assistant, Brianna, who you'll get to meet in the office once we all get back to the office. I also have grandchildren. I also have tons of clients who call me and text me, and I'm ignoring them when I'm with you, okay? So when you're with me, that's what I ask in return, unless you can't help it. Like sometimes, especially now that we're in our houses, if you have your kid, that's okay. You know, that's totally fine. But for the most part, take your phone off. Nobody's going to die in that hour that you're spending with me. And I feel the same way. I mean, I have clients right now that have closings coming up, and it's all important, but none of it is more important than you. So I will show up 100% for you, I promise. Not every one-on-one, you know, I just want to say this, not every one-on-one you have with me is going to be like, oh my God. And I compare that to taking my car into the mechanic. Sometimes I take the car in because there's a funny noise and he says to me, no, it was fine. And sometimes I take the car in and it's a major overhaul. And I go, wow. And each time I take the car in, I don't go, oh, he didn't get his money's worth today. You know what I mean? So not every time is going to be earth shattering. Not every time it's going to be exciting. Sometimes it will be. Sometimes it's going to be a breakthrough. But a lot of times it's going to be adjustments. When the pilot is flying the plane, it's always those tiny little adjustments that get them to the destination, right? So it's not always going to be the major, okay, we need to like, you know, sometimes you're going to sit with me, Ed, and you're going to go, okay, what'd we just do? But sometimes just sitting with each other, going through, okay, how are you doing this week? What's going on? What I'd like, speaking of children, hi, he's so cute. So what I'd like you guys to do is schedule with me your first 4 for an hour each. And if you want to do it consecutive and within 4 weeks, that's fine. If you want to spread it out a little more, that's fine too. So when you go on to schedule with me, make sure you're blocking out an hour, okay? After the first 4, check-ins, you know, I recommend every other week a half hour. Just unless you need more. If you want more, certainly go on and schedule with me, but at least every other week a half hour, okay? I will be reading those weekend reviews. So I might reach out to you and say, Marisol, I see that you had a little struggle with this week. Would you like to talk about it? What can I do? Or you know what, I went through the same thing, so let's work through it, right? So that's what I want to say about that. All right, and I did this. I showed you the passport for success, the locker room core, locker room university, Facebook. Okay, so how are you going to get into all this stuff, right? So what I need you guys to all do for me, first off, is to email me so that I have your the email address, and that email address, by the way, is the one that I'm going to use to enroll you in everything, okay? If that's not the email address that you want me to enroll you in everything, then in the email, tell me that, all right? But my email, and it is on the bottom here, but I'll tell it to you anyway, is celesteholmes1@gmail.com, okay? Does anybody old enough to know who Celeste Holmes, the actress, was? No. So when I was a little girl, there was an old actress. That'll tell you how old, right? And her name was Celeste Holmes, Holmes. But I thought that was kind of like a clever Celeste Holmes. So celesteholmes1@gmail.com. So you're going to email me, and in the email, tell me if that's the email you want to use. When I enroll you in the locker room, that email is going to be case sensitive. All right. So make sure you're telling me if it's lowercase or not. All right. Once I get that email from you, I'm going to enroll you. I'm going to go right in, type in your name and everything else, and you're going to get an email from the locker room welcoming you and telling you how to get into Locker Room University. If you try to get into Locker Room University now, you have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for it because you're a member of my coaching program, okay? So once I get you in, then you could go in for free and access all of those classes, okay? The other thing that's going to be in the email that I send you back is going to be our agreement, which I didn't go over. I forgot about that. So let me just pull, is that here? It is. Oh, I'm getting good with this screen share. Okay, so this is the Agent Productivity Coaching Program between the agent and the company, okay? So I want you to read this very well, very carefully. Newly licensed agents talks all about that. Existing agents, if you already came from a different company, I don't think that applies to any of you. Maybe I'm mistaken, I don't remember. In the email, you can tell me. If you leave to join a team, this is really, really important. There are agents that start with me that desire to join a team. There's nothing wrong with that. It's awesome. But if we're working together already, you can come to me and I will help you see the benefits of doing it or not doing it for you individually, okay? If you do decide to join a team, that team leader, that person that runs that team needs to understand that they will be paying me because I'm your coach, okay? So that's really important that you understand that. And then you sign the bottom, send it to me, and then I sign it. Oh, by the way, I could do this through DocuSign. So if you'd rather me do that, this way you don't have to scan it and do all that. Just read it carefully and tell me in the email, yes, that's fine, DocuSign, okay? There's a second portion of the agreement is between me and you. And the agreement here is that you have certain duties to me, I have certain duties to you, okay? One of the training requirements is Ignite, which we just finished, so it's not going to come up for another couple of months. It's an awesome class that the agents and the experienced agents in the office do. Ignore the second thing. In fact, I'm going to cross that out because we're changing all of that. And then the third thing is the piece, the coaching, the group coaching. I'd like you to come to at least 80% of them if you can. And one-on-ones, you know, goes through that, which we already talked about. And then my responsibility to you, my availability, the meetings, the group coaching, teachings, the reporting, supervision, and advice, it's all spelled out there. So once you read those, if you have any questions or any concerns whatsoever, feel free to give me a call or text me. I want you to fully understand what it is. Listen, the coaching program is free to you, but there is a requirement. The requirement is that you are committed, okay? Don't worry, we won't have you committed, but you will be committed to this. All right, so that I'm going to put in the email as well. I'm going to attach this, but again, if you don't want to print it out and you're fine with it, just shoot me a note and say, yeah, I'm fine with it, and I'll send it to you through DocuSign, okay? Once I receive your agreement, I will enroll you in the locker room. You'll get an email welcoming you, and then you'll enroll in Locker Room University, which will be free to you. Friend me on Facebook, okay? I will also have it in the email, okay? So I forget who asked me that before. So in my email back to you, I'm going to repeat all of this, all right? You're going to friend me on Facebook, and I'm going to add you to the 2 groups. And then lastly, go on realtypartnerscoaching.com and click on schedule with Celeste and schedule your first one-on-one with me, okay? Are you guys excited, or you can't wait to get the heck out of here?
Oh, I'm super excited.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yay, I'm excited too.
Yeah, I just want to get this started. This whole COVID-19 just messed everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know,
I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it's like I said, this is a tough time for everyone, and our emotions, I tell you, there's rarely a week that goes by that I don't have at least 3 days that I cry. It's a emotional roller coaster ride that we're all on, right? But there's a lot of things, and like I said, you know, in the beginning, I'm big on mindset, and there's things that we can do to keep ourselves emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally in the right place. So, but I'll help you with that. I don't believe in coaching to one part of your life. Not that I'm going to intrude on your personal lives, but I believe in coaching to the whole person. And all of this ties in, you know, with what we do every day, because we help people. We help people. It's like, I think we're in the most remarkable business that we can be in. Think about it. I know money's not the biggest thing, and you know, the most important thing in the world is what money can do for you, but we're helping people with usually the biggest investment of their lives. And there's so much emotion wrapped up into that. You're going to be helping people that are getting married, getting divorced, having babies, people die, people live. Everything is in the home that they're selling or buying. and you're part of it. And it's like an amazing situation to be in. It's a huge responsibility, but it's so wonderful and it's so rewarding. So I'm like so there with you, you know. So I'm sorry, I go off. I just go off. So you, every once in a while you have to tell me, get back on track.
There was just one question I had with the realtypartnerscoaching.com. You said we had to accomplish or complete something before we are able to sign up for that hour meeting with you.
No, all you need to do, yes and no. All you need to do is the agreement. You have to get the agreement back to me.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
I'm going to repeat that in my email to you so that it's all spelled out of what you need. But basically,
Okay.
once you sign the agreement, you're telling me I'm in, I sign you up for everything, and then you could go in and sign up and schedule that one-on-one, okay? All right, any other questions? We've gone 2 minutes over the hour. We're not doing too badly. Any other questions before we go? No? I'm excited for you guys. Ed, you were going to say something?
No, I just emailed you, and I would like the DocuSign.
Okay, awesome. I will do that. Absolutely.
As would I.
Okay. Yeah, it's easier. It's easier. Sure. Absolutely. I will do that. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I don't want to rush you, but if there's nothing else, we'll say goodbye now, but you can reach back out to me privately by text. You all have my phone number, which I'll put in my email too, but if you want to jot it down now, I'll give it to you. It's 914-772-8965.
Okay.
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 All right. All right, guys.
All right, guys. Stay
So
safe.
happy. All
Thank
right.
you.
Take
Bye.
care. You have a
Bye, guys.
Bye.
afternoon. Now, how do I do this? I go back over here. I go big here. Oh, I gotta say, stop sharing is what I gotta do. Stop sharing.